Hello and welcome to the Kingdom YouTube podcast. My name is Jacko, and today, it's just me, and this is the podcast for January of 2022. I promised you guys that the podcast and the dev update would happen at least once a month, and I will keep that promise. I also was, not gonna lie to you, I wasn't really going to, because initially I meant to do an explain video for this week. But because it's taking a little bit longer than I thought it would to edit it. And for those that want to know, I think I already mentioned my plans on on Twitch and on the dev update for what videos that were going to come out. This is a One Punch Man explain video that I'm doing. It's voiced by Ivory, in case you don't know who she is. She's done previous videos for us before. Many of the explain videos she's done. Really, right now, the video is sitting in pieces, but all the pieces are there. So it's just a matter of next week, the following week for this. Obviously, this is going to come out on Sunday, the 23rd of January. But the new week coming will get you an explain video, and it will be on One Punch Man. After that, it's probably going to be Mushishi and a few other series that I have planned. I have Death Note as well. I also have Ranma 1/2. I might do Ranma before Mushishi because Ranma is kind of getting some traction right now. And while I try to avoid explicitly going for traction and more just for what is easy for me, really, I think why not? The script's done, so I just need someone to voice it. I might very well voice it, but I don't know. I find the videos that I do voice don't do so well. I have no problem with that. I understand why. I don't have enough inflection, enough emotion in my voice. I understand that. And that's fine. So that's why the videos tend to do better when other people voice them. I'm not sure who I can get to do the other ones. I might try, maybe get Slim to do one of those. Slim hasn't done ones in a while, and I haven't talked to him too much lately, so it might be nice to get him to do that more. Though he has some trouble with some of the longer non-English words, which is fine, of course, as an English speaker. There are a few things that I wanted to go through. They're kind of old news, I guess, now. Really. I'm now realizing that I'm going to have to make custom art for this video, and I'm thinking about how much time I have to do that. Well, that will be unique, so whatever ends up being what I did, I apologize, because that I'm only now realizing, because I'm recording this on January 22nd, I don't have much time to put together a thumbnail. And now I'm thinking maybe I should talk about specific things that aren't the thing, so I can make the thumbnail easily. I try to make the thumbnail as always my character, but it's not really my character. For those that don't know, the even the character you're seeing on screen right now for my thing and what I use on all my media, all my social media, is in fact the main character from Rascal. Bunny. His main character's name is Rascal, I think, something. From Bunny Girl. What the fuck? What is that series called? It's Bunny Girl Senpai or something like that. It was an animated series that I really enjoyed watching. It was the first sort of love or romance animated series I liked. And the character I felt sort of matched myself in some regard. And I thought it was kind of funny that I'd be able to edit him and just like work with him, because the series does not match anything. I mean, for example, the image that I used, or the drawing that I did for the Borderlands videos, or the Borderlands series, there's no point in the series where the character looks like that or has that emotion or anything. The last podcast video, I tried to make him look like Luffy, or Luffy, however you pronounce that, I'm not sure. And so, I mean, that's never been done before for that character. It's a niche series, I'd say. I think a good number of people know about it. Not a lot of people give a shit. It's pretty easy to sort of lapse out of your brain since it happened, or it came out a while ago. I really started doing that, I think, with the Jacko's Bizarre Adventure, maybe. That's where I really kind of got into the idea of just using the character for the thumbnails. I found it fun. I even tried to do it when we were doing Assassin's Junction, which is an older podcast too. The podcast is where I really started to do more specifically unique and drawn thumbnails because I thought it was fun. I don't know. I like doing the podcast thumbnails most of the time, and I can't believe I forgot that I had to make one again for this one. The reason why this week was just very, very busy for me, which is why I'm recording this podcast the day before it goes up. Usually I do this, but I give myself Saturday and Sunday to edit and make a thumbnail. That way I don't have to pull my hair out in thinking to do something, but it should be fine. I have some ideas already now, thinking here right now with you guys. There's one thing that I want to talk about. There's two things I want to talk about. One thing, I'm now looking at it, I think is really, really interesting, and I kind of want to drive attention towards it while I can. And I'll outline why I'm nervous about talking about it and why I'm specifying while I can. So, Bloodborne, in case some of you are unaware, and this is coming from someone who has played very, very limited of those types of games. It's similar to Dark Souls and Demon Souls. I do not know off the top of my head if it's made by the same company. I could Google it right now, but I think it's more interesting for me not to know. And it follows much of the same structure that Dark Souls has. However, it switches the medieval sort of Renaissance or chivalry era aesthetic that is provided in Dark Souls with a more, well, it's still European, it's still that sort of thing, but more of a Black Death kind of thing, more sort of a plague aesthetic to it, more of that, what's that specific era and time called, where you have those frilly dresses and you have like powdered wigs and everything. I can't recall. Why can I not? It's sort of classical, but no, that's not right. V something. I'm gonna be annoyed. If you guys know what word I'm thinking about, please let me know, because I'm gonna think about it probably after I'm done recording this. Victorian. That's what it is. It's got that Victorian aesthetic to it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong era, but Victorian is what I think of. There's a lot of those frills present in the design of the clothes and much of the physical characteristics of bosses, I find, which aren't present in Dark Souls. I think that's really what stands out. Of course, the plague aesthetic stands out even more. Regardless, I'm talking about Bloodborne because there is a person creating a PS1 remake of this series. Now, I have not mentioned this in a podcast before. I've mentioned my love for the game on, maybe I have mentioned my love for the game in streams, or I've definitely mentioned it in streams, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it in podcasts. But whoops. One of my favorite all-time games, my all-time favorite game, is Obsidian's, and I will say Obsidian because I am aware of the history of this game a little bit more these days is Obsidian's Fallout New Vegas. If you are curious why I'm not seeing Bethesda's Fallout New Vegas, I would encourage you to look up the history and study up a bit about how the game was developed, and then you might feel a bit more obligated to put Obsidian at the front before Bethesda. However, that's really a matter of opinion, I suppose. I'll leave links to everything I mentioned, of course, in the description and pinned comment, and I would highly recommend you obviously go check out these links so you can watch some of the content I'm mentioning. But this person is creating a PS1 remake, and the reason why I'm bringing up Fallout New Vegas is because there was a project not too long ago which I am of the belief that it is a dead project. I've been told and have read theories that it is in fact not dead, but is merely being downgraded or being something that's going to become black market. And that is the Fallout New Vegas remaster using Fallout 4's engine. So it's a mod for Fallout 4 that is Fallout New Vegas. It's the full story. Originally, it was supposed to use the same voice lines and radio, and then Bethesda, I have a list, so I apologize. Bethesda hit them with a cease and desist. Fairly, I mean, it seemed from a public's point of view that it was late in development, but it might have been midway or even very early, and it was just a lot of things we were seeing was concept work, maybe, who knows. But at some point in development, after the public had already become aware of this project, hype had already been generated, it was hit with cease and desist, and then everything kind of slowed down. It didn't stop right away. There was still hope. Some people said that they were going to get new people to voice new lines. I remember Doc from Good Springs. He was going to be voiced by someone who, to me, I recognized the name of, now it's slipping me. This is a very long time ago that this all came to be. Maybe 4 years ago, maybe now. Regardless, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because the reason that Bethesda hit them with the cease and desist was not because they truly owned or had complete rights to the music and voice lines. They did, of course, but the issue was that Bethesda could not extend their contracts to projects like Fallout 4. While the engine itself, which, or the GEC, if you're unaware about the GEC, I'll leave stuff in the description because it's a little bit more complicated than to explain a podcast. And this podcast will be short, I'm fairly certain. Podcasts that are just me, I'm going to keep it to one topic. In this case, it's going to be talking about this Bloodborne remake, this PS1 remake. And by the way, it's not actually for PS1. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But even though in the GEC, which is this basically the engine the game runs on, or basically this amalgamation of shit that extends from Fallout games to Elder Scrolls games, so assets are all put together, code is put together and stuff like that. And this is all coming from what I've heard and what I've read, not from actually experiencing or intertwining or interacting, not intertwining with the GEC itself. In the GEC, there are the lines from Fallout New Vegas. That's what I'm being led to believe. And despite the fact that they're in the GEC, they can't be used in Fallout 4, which also uses this GEC as well. GEC is an in-world thing within Fallout that's referenced many, many times. It's referenced in Fallout 3 directly through a main quest. I believe it's an acronym. I believe in the games it's one thing, but in reality it's another. I'm not entirely sure which is which. Of course, like I said, I'll leave more informal links in the description and pinned comment for you guys to do further reading if you choose to do so. But yes, because of this, they hit them with a cease and desist, and the project was dead. And there were many other projects like this. I believe Fallout Miami had some issues, and Fallout California had some issues. As you can tell, I'm a big Fallout fan. I remember Fallout Miami having something. Then there was the Frontier for New Vegas. Fallout Frontier had a few issues. Legally, I don't. Story-wise, I'm aware of a few of the other issues. Though I have not interacted with that mod, I've watched a fair number of people play the game. I'll actually leave a link to a YouTube channel of people playing it that I kind of thought was enjoyable, though they use strong language, which I will say publicly right now I don't encourage or see as anything less than deplorable. I'm going to say that as a public thing right now. So I'll leave links to them in case you want to actually watch people play Fallout Frontier, which is, in my opinion, a disaster. I'm trying to find the connection here again. So the reason why I mention this is because this Bloodborne remake, which is not actually for PlayStation 1, the aesthetic is PlayStation 1. Character models, character interaction, cutscenes, everything from top to bottom, including music, is being redone to create this aesthetic of a PlayStation 1 game. If you haven't played PlayStation 1 games, or you've never seen someone play PlayStation 1 games, by the way, I recommend, if you like watching people play older games, to go check out Game Grumps. It feels a bit stupid to recommend, in my opinion, because within my circle, it seems like they're very popular and very well known. However, of course, I think it's a bit biased to believe that, so I'll leave links to them as well. Actually, I would like to in the future cover older games. There's one specific game called Abe's Odyssey, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, sorry, that I would like to cover. I've done a video on it before, which I'll also leave a link to, and I'll leave a link to gameplay as well. But I really like that game, and I would really like to do a series on it somehow. I don't know. It's a childhood game of mine. Same, I'd like to do New Vegas as well at some point. Regardless, that's not the point. So this PlayStation 1 remake, which is not actually for PlayStation 1, redoes pretty much everything. It's beyond retexturing. It's restructuring Bloodborne as a whole. And I do believe that it's going to be independent. It's not a mod. I believe it is going to be something that is... I don't even know if it's going to be sold. I just believe that it's going to be distributed online through Steam relatively soon. I believe later this month, maybe even tomorrow. I'm not certain. I believe it was something the 20th of January or something. I'll make a note of it in the comments, obviously, because I'll have found the proper link that I was looking for. Anyways, it would be too much for me to dig through all of my Twitter bookmarks to find it right at this instance while I'm recording. But my concern, and why I'm saying why I was a bit concerned about talking about it, and why maybe spreading news of it is a bit bad, is because eventually it's gonna get hit with a cease and desist or something. Hopefully not worse than that. Hopefully it's not gonna. Hopefully there won't be anything worse than a cease and desist, honestly. Hopefully they never receive a cease and desist. I believe it's made by one individual. And I actually would... I'm a proponent of individual creativity and liberties. I think stuff like that... remakes, obviously, as I mentioned, I'm a fan. I was a fan of many Fallout projects, Fallout 4 projects, like Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4 New Vegas. I think it was Fallout Mojave, Fallout 4 Mojave or something like that. I think, or Project Mojave. I can't recall what the actual project title was for that one. But Fallout 4 Miami, I was a fan of. Fallout 4 California, I was a fan of. Fallout Frontier, I was a fan of. So as you know, I'm a fan of many of those type of things, and it's not just Fallout. There's a lot of stuff for There was a game that was developed that was similar in structure to Pokemon. It was something yellow. This is a few years ago too. There's no way I'm gonna be able to find a link 'cause I'm remembering such small fragments of this memory. But maybe some of you are familiar with what I'm talking about. It was a game that was developed by a team of, I want to say, 3 or 4 people. It was available on Steam and maybe even the Apple Store or iTunes, sorry, for maybe a week before it was hit with a cease and desist from Nintendo and the whole project was closed. It was yellow something, yellow, or at least the logo was yellow. This is why I'm saying it's so fragmented. I can't remember anything. But I'm a big proponent of stuff like that. I'm a big proponent of that stuff as a consumer. I've yet to delve into the world of game development properly. I've experimented with code before and making my own individual small bit games, but I've never made mainstream or indie games. And I haven't even gotten into Steam, though I'd like to. So I want to make that clear, and I want to make it certain that people don't think that I am encouraging companies to send cease and desist or think it's even right. I think it's a matter of opinion whether it's right or wrong, really. I think you have to have at least that much open mind in this regard if it's opinion. I think labeling an opinion is the best way. And not truly labeling as right or wrong, because that just closes the argument on nothing. Really, it doesn't benefit anyone just ending the argument like that. But I think that this remake, though it completely restructures the game from the bottom up, I firmly believe it's going to get hit hard. So, what I would encourage you guys to do is if this project interests you, that the moment it's available, that you go and get it. Go and download it or whatever the means are. Mind you, and I'm going to keep this for legal reasons, though not many of you watch these videos. I don't believe this video will explode. But just in case, I'm not suggesting you should download stuff without triple checking that it isn't a virus, because who knows, maybe all this is a joke in poor taste. I would suggest that you guys download it, and if the project does get handled in the way that I believe it will be, I believe that you guys should try and spread it around. Sort of a Fahrenheit 451 sort of situation. If you haven't read the book or seen the films, 'cause I know there's 2 now, please do so. I mean, for one, I believe there is free and public ways of watching legally the original for Fahrenheit 451 now. I don't believe I'll be able to provide links to that stuff, but you can go watch it on your own. But yeah, I think that's what should be done. Is if the game gets hit, in which I think it will, you guys should try and spread it. Download it when you can, really, if it interests you, honestly. Personally, I'm considering downloading it. Hopefully the specs of my computer will allow it to be downloaded. But who knows? Really, as of the moment, I am unaware. I believe even the developers a little bit unaware, and it will only really be something that's public once it's all released. I've never played Bloodborne. I played Dark Souls 1 a lot. 2 a bit, and then 3 I played a little bit as well. I think I played 3 more than I played 2. I played 1 a lot because it was just a game that was available on the original Xbox for a really long time. That was, I believe, free or was a part of the arcade or something like that, or even was gold or something. I feel like it was free for a very long time, alongside Soul Calibur or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know how you guys would know because it was so long ago. But yeah, that's today's topic. Like I said, these podcasts are going to be very, very short. I'm going to cover one subject, and it's going to be once a month. Unless I get more people in here in these podcasts, then I will cover obviously more than one topic. But right now, I'm only going to cover this, and hopefully, this is interesting to you guys to know about or discover this PS1 remake or redux. I believe redux is probably more appropriate of a word because it's a complete redoing of the thing, not just a restructuring. It's not putting a new coat of paint on something. It's a maybe I don't know what the correct term is. Maybe you guys out there, English being a very strong language, or even your academics being in English, let me know. Or even Latin, I don't know. Maybe Latin is a more appropriate term in Latin that works in English language, which is why the English language is so fucked in my opinion. That's a subject for another day. So the next video you guys are getting is the One Punch Explain video. Then after that, it's probably be February. Then you guys will get a dev update, and then you'll get more explain videos. But I am going to return, I promise, with some how-to Adobe videos. I think, excuse me, the first 100 subs we got was during the time that we uploaded how to Adobe videos. So hopefully that is good news for some of you. The series will remain pretty much the same as it was before. One thing that it's teaching you, several tricks that it's teaching you in the process, and ultimately just making some sort of logo or texture or effect on text or something simple. The only video that we didn't do that was like a little bit more complex was the Animal Crossing one, and that was solely because I was able to do it for the Assassin Junction video, and then I realized, oh, there's probably a lot of people that want to do this as well, and so then I made a video. Since then, I can't think of anything that I did I did something like that. The vignette one that we did for the premiere was one of those videos where I was like, oh, I've now understood how to do this. There's probably several other people that would like to do this as well. And it's a little bit more complicated than teaching you one trick. So I might do videos that are more complex in the How to Adobe series, but it's not for sure. This new season of it is not going to be much grander than the first, really. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint you guys. Hopefully you're just encouraged by the idea that it's returning. And if you have any suggestions for effects that we could cover, or things you even have trouble with within the Adobe suite that hopefully we can make a video on to help you, please let me know. It can be as simple as saying that text or fonts, or working with fonts within Illustrator, for example, is difficult, or even if you're like, maybe we could even make a video that says alternatives to Photoshop, or means of acquiring Photoshop, or the means of acquiring Photoshop is probably not a video that's appropriate, or something of the sort. Let me know what you guys are thinking, even for the Explain series, of course. If there's videos or subjects for animated series, movies, games that you'd like us to cover, let me know in the comments of this video. It's super helpful. Again, comments, I've outlined this before, are the bread and butter of any YouTube channel. It's a great source of feedback. Obviously, we have the Patreon, which is a secondary great source of feedback, though monetary in that regard. You're not obligated, obviously, to donate. But comments really do help. They help us quite a good amount, both within the algorithm and as creators, as developing our ideas, editing, creating new ideas, and so on. I won't spur too much about that because the video is already about 30 minutes long now at this point. But hopefully you guys understand. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, like I mentioned, everything I mentioned in this video is going to be in the description and pinned comments. And again, I hope you guys please do check out this remake, because it's a creative project that I cannot believe that it is not a passion project. And I though I am a bit of an optimist to some regard, I full-heartedly expect for this game to be pulled by its ass up into the air by an industry or developers who may not be cold-hearted or anything like that. I think there's an argument for whether they're cold-hearted or not, but this is not a platform, I suppose, to do that on. But I fully believe that they will get hoisted. So please do check out that project. Even as a creative individual, maybe Bloodborne or even Darksouls or any of those games don't share much of an interest to you as they sort of do for me. But if you're a creative individual, or you even like to encourage people to be creative, then please check it out. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week, or the rest of today and the coming new week, and I will see you guys next month for another one of these podcasts. If you have any suggestions for topics, let me know. And the next video, like I mentioned, will be an explained video on One Punch Man. So you guys have a good one, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Seems like yesterday. Seems like yesterday. Yesterday.